Given the choice, whether to rule a corrupt and failing empire, or to challenge the fates for another throw, a better throw against one's destiny. What was a king to do? But does one ever truly have a choice? One can only match, move by move, the machinations of fate, and thus defy the tyrannous stars.
There is a magical operation of maximum importance. The initiation of a new aeon. When it becomes necessary to utter a word, the whole planet must be bathed in blood.
This is the full cinematic story of the legacy of Kain, Blood Omen. The following introductory information to the series comes directly from Crystal Dynamics' former website. Kain is the youngest son of an aristocratic family, seeking gold and glory in the hinterlands of Nosgoth. His haughty arrogance has won him no allies, and it's in the mud-wallow, pathetic excuse of a village, Ziegsturhl, Kain's story begins in earnest. Or should I say, his downfall.
The tavern's closing. Best be on your way, stranger. What? No mug of ale for a weary traveller from distant Corhagen? I can reward you well, for I am of noble blood. I stay open for no man in these dark times. Things come with the night that no sane man would welcome. And so I left, cold of heart and soul, forced to the road and the long, bitter night. That's him!
As we exit the relative safety of the tavern, we are set upon by a cluster of orange-hooded cutthroats who lie in wait, soon overwhelmed by the sheer volume of biting blades from our unknown assailants.
End it, now!
And our last earthly experience is the cold tip of a claymore piercing our hearts.
They, victors, suffering to the conquered. Ironic that now I was the one suffering. Not anything as pedestrian as physical pain, rather the cruel jab of impotent anger. The hunger for revenge. I didn't care if I was in heaven or hell. All I wanted was to kill my assassins. Sometimes you get what you wish for. The necromancer Mortanius offered me a chance for vengeance, and like a fool, I jumped at his offer without considering the cost. Nothing is free, not even revenge.
You will have the blood you hunger for.
I awoke to the pain of a new existence, in a dank womb of darkness and decay.
Cast from the jaws of oblivion, we find ourselves freshly exhumed in an unfamiliar crypt. Compelled by a burning vengeance, we begin to feel our way blindly out of the stone labyrinth to the north wall and see a switch that liberates us from our tomb. And to the west, a spell card we activate, exclaiming,
The sanctuary spell enables me to travel to my crypt, where the soil of my grave provides me respite. I often resort to this when I am weak and need nourishment.
Heading north, we enter a dimly lit room with a lone gravedigger wielding a shovel in an unwelcoming manner and deal with him accordingly. Perhaps our new visage will cause all we meet to act in kind. With our path unobstructed, we head west and find another spell card bearing the image of a floating, blackened heart.
Reputed to have been ripped from the chest of the greatest vampire to have ever existed, Janos Audron, the Heart of Darkness restores vampiric unlife. Life is precious, Janos discovered, as it was torn, throbbing and bleeding from his own body.
Shackled to a northern wall, we find a peculiar sight. A wretch of a woman struggling and bound to a wall. We also discover a newfound hunger and slake our thirst accordingly.
This ancient vial bears with it a dark gift indeed, for with it my life force is increased.
To the east, we encounter another morsel, but choose to enter misery rather than feed. Casually collecting the magical trinket by our side.
These ancient symbols of power contain raw magical energy that increases my own capacity to summon energy for the spawning of spells.
In the room ahead, the undead are called forth, presumably in response to our trespassing. With the undead defeated, we discover a monolithic structure in a room to the west, adorned with glyphs that enables us to save our progress.
Within the walls of these chambers I could find respite, and if I so chose, resume my journey when my weariness abated.
After a short rest, we exit the mausoleum, and Kain sees the world for the first time as a vampire.
The world had changed to my eyes. I had not expected such cruelty from the light, for in the embrace of the sun I could find no comfort, only malice. This would change in time for the worse, along with other things. When rainfall comes, vampires are wise to find shelter from its acidic touch.
With our skins scorched from the rain, we feed on an errant groundskeeper to soothe our burns and make a beeline for a nearby tomb. Inside, we find much of the same enemy's pathetic attempt at impeding our quest for vengeance. The only boon to speak of was a flay artifacts we found during our exit.
These curious devices hurl bolts of whirling energy and eviscerate my human enemies by stripping ragged flesh from blood-stained bone.
And of course, we decide to test the artifact to magnificent effect. We feast perhaps a final time before exiting the tomb, sensing our assassins are near.
Hunger and weakness are no bar to vengeance's call. I would find my slayers and send them back whence I came.
As promised, we stalk our prey into the nearby glade, the rain's acidic touch be damned, as we revel in the terror and carnage.
What trickery is this?
Have a seat, sir. If we put you down once, we could do it again.
Their sneering faces were forever etched upon my memory. I had crossed death for this moment. My mind was empty save for one thought. I would kill.
With the band of brigands all but obliterated, we savor the final foe's bloody demise.
There is no greater release than that from vengeance sated. With my assassins dead, my quest was over.
'Tis not over, Kain. These fools were merely the instruments of your murder, not the cause. Look to their masters, look to the pillars, and gain way to the fortress of the mind.
So, the necromancer Mortanius has revealed the cutthroats serve an unknown master that lay by the Pillars of Nosgoth. But first, to visit the wretched town, Ziegsturhl.
This was where the bloody deed of my murder took place. I would not be kind to the denizens that lurk here. They would taste my steel, and I their blood.
Entering the town from the northern path, we see that the carts that had previously blocked our escape have miraculously disappeared. It's time, we think. We shall visit the barkeep who doomed us to our fate. Inside the tavern, a knight-errant and his wench attack to no avail. Once disposed of, we see the barkeep is visibly shocked at our return, yet safely hidden behind his bar. Furious that he remains unmolested by our blade's biting edge, We stalk through the village, drinking deep from the sleeping villagers and growing in power. And in one home, pilfer some flay artifacts lying about. Now with a means of offence against the barkeep, we dutifully re-enter the tavern, shocked ourselves to see our assailants have re-risen as spirits, yet happily put them down again in their ethereal form. Once more, we visit the cowering barkeep, but this time, eviscerate the fool on his feet. First, he loses his protectors, and now his flesh falls to the floor. He's slipping badly. Leaving the town after slaughtering the rest of the denizens therein, we casually crush any remnants of brigands that dare bar our path to the pillars.
The necromancer had offered me no warning as to what my resurrection would entail, and yet I must confess in my haste I had not sought one. Was his gift a curse? I would seek the pillars for an answer.
After contending with the bulk of meager marauders, we make our way north through the forest, slaying the last mace-wielding warrior. And spying the fabled Pillars of Nosgoth.
The Pillars of Nosgoth. Even in life, few sights have moved me such as this. I marvel that such beauty should grace our dying world.
Shrouded in a small alcove nearby is what our enemy had clearly hidden, a means to teleport to the previously inaccessible pillars. As we step off the octagonal pad towards the pillar, we sense something is very wrong, and we are not alone. And it's then we spy a spirit haunting the stone monument, and approaching her, she says,
Nopraptor, your madness has shattered our dreams and blinded you.
Keep your distance, or I'll send you back to hell, spirit!
There is nothing left of me to fear, vampire. I'm only a shadow of my former self, Ari, the balance of the Circle of Nine. Even so, I can provide the answers you seek.
I seek only a cure.
There is no cure for death, only release. You must destroy the sorcery that is now poisoning Nosgoth. Only then will you realize peace. The Nine, the Protectors of Hope, were sworn to use their powers to preserve our world. Now these pillars have been corrupted by a traitor. My murder at the hands of this beast drove my love Nopraptor mad. Now he spreads misery and pain among the Circle, crumbling the very foundation of Nosgoth. You must restore balance. You must right the Pillars of Nosgoth.
I care not for the fate of this world.
Then for yourself, Kain. Beware the unspoken.
And so ends our quest for the Pillars, but our search for vengeance continues against the Pillars' maddened guardians, and for the very soul of Nosgoth itself.